I'm still kind of offended by it. Like, I swear to fucking God, she is not fat. Floyd was fat. Fat. Like, she's, if anything, she's pleasantly plump.
Thank you. Easy, Karina, Jaman, Gil, Dyldan, and Floral. Michigan.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Okay. Is there two of them there or just one?
There's a couple.
Dude, that's so exciting. I'm so happy for you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And then Izzy, he's not, like, there's nothing for Australia right now.
As far as I know, yeah, there isn't any.
God damn
But
it.
I wouldn't be able to. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to go right now anyway. Just like where I live exactly, and I mean, I guess Australia itself is kind of a bit messed up with some of the stuff, but COVID and that. But I live out in the. So I live in the north of Australia, Darwin in the Northern Territory. So it's even though it's a capital city, it's kind of a smaller city. So if I did, I'd have to travel to, for example, to let's say Melbourne or Sydney.
Yeah.
But I mean, I one day hope to. I've never been, so.
What?
Yeah.
What? Like, you've never seen Wednesday?
Yeah, I've never seen a concert in person. I mean, I've seen them on Zoom though, but yeah, I haven't.
Is it too, and I know it's so different over there than it is in the States, but is it just too hard and expensive to travel, basically, because you have to take public transport?
Well, I mean, the thing is, I'd have to take a plane to fly to a completely, a different state and stuff. I mean, I still plan to, like, one day, but I have to, like, save up and money and that for it. Yeah.
Holy crap. So it's not possible to take, and I'm really, really bad with geography, so forgive me, but it's not possible to, like, take a train or a bus or something like that to Melbourne or Sydney?
I can't. I mean, I could travel technically on the GAN, but that thing goes down to Adelaide anyway. But my main, like, the only really option really is to fly or. Yeah, I mean, I technically could drive down. I mean, I can drive myself, but right now. But even so, like, it would take like days to get.
Really?
Yeah, because Australia, we're all kind of. It's all mainly like spaced out and stuff. I'll try and send a map if I can where I live, so it's easier geography wise. But because because between obviously, because I live up the very top, but between all that, it's mainly like the small towns, but it's mainly a lot of desert or mining or bushland.
Okay. I'm looking at the Northern Territory on my phone here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're up there, and then, oh my. Okay.
Yes, I live in Darwin, and that yeah, yeah, it's quite big. And just our population as well, like our city. I mean, Palmerston is another city, but it more or less counts like 20 minutes away or whatever. But the population is small, so we don't get a lot of acts up here anyway. Well, we have had some, but yeah, we're just like, yeah, even though we're a city, we're technically like a big town, really. But we're quite small and all that, and quite far.
Oh, I'll have to look. I'll have to, like, do some more Googling to see how, like. Do you live in Darwin? So I've got Darwin all zoomed in here.
Yeah.
I'll have to, like, look. Just. Oh man, but that's got to be so pretty, though.
Yeah. I love my city and that, and the wildlife and everything. And enjoy living it. It's just like compared to like the rest of the, like, you know, compared to the other capital cities, it's obviously not as big and stuff. Right. Like, I mean, even for example, on like if someone's talking about the weather, the main cities that are going to be properly mentioned at first are going to be like Brisbane or Adelaide.
Easy. I don't mean to interrupt. Can you change the title of the stream or the game to Blood?
Okay.
Yeah, because I completely forgot to change the title of the game to Blood.
And it says here, I'm looking at it through mod view. It says the charity 18 plus charity stream for Ukraine, so I gotta change that as well.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't know why it's...
I need a key.
That shouldn't have been like that.
But every time somebody came in, you were explaining it too, Blitz, so it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it is, but, like, Twitch, you need to have your, title not consistent, you know, because it'll be, like, misinformation, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't want to get in trouble with Twitch. Yeah. You just mentioned about how, we're doing charity streaming for Kim.
Yeah, for Kim and Betty.
Yeah,
And
Kim
then I'll
Patty.
put Blood.
Izzy, what time is it there?
It's 2:34 p.m.
What?
on a Saturday. Yeah.
God. And Blitz, you're just...
What time is it there?
It's 11 p.m. on Friday night. And Blitz is...
Oh wow.
Yeah, Dawes, he is one of the exceptions in that. I'll let chat in the group and all that, because I know Dawes, and, yeah, he's very mature for his age and all that, so I'd let him... I'll let him hang out if he wants.
That's cool. Oh, it's weird, I can hear... I just clicked on something else, and now I'm actually watching you play, Blitz.
Oh.
I thought I was watching it before, but I just clicked on something else, and now it's... Oh, Pat, stop. Grim, stop.
There we go. I fixed up the title. I did have it as charity stream for Kim and Fatty, but after I put it in, it was like this conflicts with Twitch's moderation policy. I'm like, what? Why? So
Wow.
I just put it for Kim. Kim Picture.
Oh, probably because you put fatty. Yeah, probably because you had the word fatty in it.
That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
probably. Yeah, it doesn't like that. Twitch is very, how you say, like PC, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, PC. Like,
Oh, no, and,
that word's offensive. Oh, go on.
Even though people forget about context
Right.
and actual names.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is another random... Hi, sweetie. She's just making laps from room to room. It's like nighttime now, so she's a little more awake, but she's just walking back and forth. But, so when she was a baby, and there was her and her sister, Affy. So I'll explain their names a little bit. So it was the two of them, and we could tell them apart because the stripes on their faces were just a little bit different. Like Affy's stripe on her forehead was a little bit thicker than Fatty's, and so Fatty had the thin stripe and Affy had the thick stripe. And when I would feed them, like, I had to monitor how much they ate, you know, how many cc's, milliliters, whatever formula they were getting, and as they were growing, you know, and they said, you know, when they were 3 weeks old, they need to eat this much. When they're 4 weeks old, they need to eat this much. And so I would grab them out of the kennel, and I would, like, be trying to feed them, and then it never failed. Like, when I was feeding the both of them, and sometimes I would just let them both out of the kennel, and I would just pick one up and feed one, and then set her down, and then pick up the other one and feed her. But like Fatty would always try to steal the nipple on the syringe from her sister. So like when Jake and I would be talking about who ate how much, okay, did this one get enough, and who ate how much, whatever, we'd just be talking about how much formula they'd gotten. I just started calling her Fatty. I was like, well, the little Fatty was trying to steal the nipple again, so she ended up getting more because I stole the nipple. And whatever. So we just started calling her Fatty because she was always the one trying to steal the nipple from her sister. And so a long time it was just Fatty and then the other one. And then when they got a little bit older, we still didn't really have a nickname, and it was just a nickname, it was just easier to distinguish them, like, well, that one's the little fatty, and when they got older, then I stupidly had them in the house. Well, weather and stuff, there'd be storms, and I had them in a kennel, and I didn't want to leave them outside, so I'd bring them in the house. And I had them out of the kennel one day in the house. I don't know if I was feeding them or what, but they were running around in my kitchen, and they were just little itty bitty things. And my dog Cooper, the one that I lost last summer, he went up, and all of a sudden, just like super quick, he jumped up and raced across the kitchen and grabbed up Fatty's sister in his mouth and was like trying to eat her. And like we jumped on him real fast, and we were like, "No, Cooper, no!" And he dropped her. Luckily, he dropped her, and then it became that one. We ended up calling her Affy because it was short for AF, which stood for asshole food. Because we joked around and said that like the other one she had almost become asshole food because he was being an asshole to her, trying to eat her. So Affy got her name from asshole food. Basically, technically, asshole food was her name, and we just shortened it up to Affy because that was a little bit nicer sounding. And then Fatty was just Fatty, but then when she ended up sticking around and she never left like Affy did, we realized pretty quickly that she recognized her name and she knew her name already. And so then it was like when she ended up staying here, we had never intended to we never even intended to give them names. But then we realized that she recognized the name Fatty, and that's what we'd already been calling her for months, and it ended up just sticking. And it was always funny because we already had Floyd at that point. We had Floyd before them, and Floyd was a tank. He was huge. He was so fat, and like he was legitimately fat. His fat rolls like rolled over his eyes. Like he was just a tank. And so people always would screw it up, and they would think that between Fatty and Floyd, they thought that Floyd was Fatty because of the name. And we would always have to tell people, no, Fatty is the skinny one. Fatty is the little one. Floyd is the actual fat one. And we've just kind of always joked about that, how, Fatty is her name, but she's not actually fat. And when she was at the vet last week, one of the first things that the vet told me when she called me about the blood work and all that shit and just tell me everything she knew up to that point, she had to tell me like 3 fucking times that Fatty was in fact fat. And I was like, she's not fat. And the vet kept telling me, yeah, she is. Like, she has got quite a layer of fat on her. And I was like, I'm still kind of offended by it. Like, I swear to fucking God, she is not fat. Floyd was fat. Fat. Like, if anything, she's pleasantly plump. But, like, oh my God, I was so annoyed. And then, then the vet had to tell me 4 times, well, because she's fat, we couldn't do this. Or because she's fat, we had to do it this way. And I'm like, oh, come on, lady. Quit rubbing it in,
How much does she weigh, actually?
Well, when they weighed her, she was 10.5 pounds.
Shit, that's not heavy at all for a skunk. I mean, I'm assuming.
Well, from what I know, it varies. Like Floyd, he was fat. He weighed 16 pounds. And on a tiny little animal, like the body is smaller than a cat, 16 pounds is a lot. 16 pounds is a lot for a cat. And then put that on a smaller frame, 16 pounds was very fat. But like they always say like 7, 8 pounds is usually pretty normal for a skunk, pretty healthy. But there's smaller ones, but there's also bigger ones. And like I know Fatty used to be around 8 pounds, but in the wintertime, they put on weight because they don't quite hibernate in the winter, but they go into something called torpor. That's where they sleep a lot. They sleep a lot. They don't eat that much because there's not that much food available. Grim, stop. Grim. There's not
Who's a Grim?
Oh, cat. One of our cats. He was clawing up my beautiful antique furniture. It's destroyed already, but like in the wintertime, skunks pack on weight. Like in the late fall, they start eating a ton, and then they just put on a bunch of weight, and then they pretty much last on that all winter because there's not near as much food available in the winter. And then the spring and summer, they lose the weight, and then put it on again for winter and whatever. So, like I kept telling the vet, I'm like, it could be her winter weight because they do put on weight in the winter. And she's like, well, but she's a bit chunky. She's on the hefty side. And I'm like, what the fuck ever.
She's not. She's not fat. She's fluffy.
And that's what I said. I was like, if you wet her down right, she's like fluffy in every sense of the word. Like that's the thing too. They get a big, heavy winter coat that's just beautiful, and they get this really deep, heavy undercoat on them. And then in the springtime, they shed all that winter fur, and they get really really fine, thin, wiry fur for summer. But their winter coat is just huge and fluffy and beautiful and super thick. And I was telling the vet, I was like, if you wet her down right now, like if you put her in the bathtub, like she'll look half the size that she is. I think she's just a good, big skunk. Like, I don't know. I was like so annoyed every time the vet brought up that she was fat. And I'm like, okay, lady, quit fucking rubbing it in, like maybe she's got an extra pound on her right now because it's winter, but you can feel her ribs. Like what I've always been taught by vets with animals is that you should be able to feel their ribs, but not see their ribs. And when I feel her, I can feel her ribs, but whatever. Supposedly she is fat. And then even the lady who was babysitting her, I was kind of bitching to her about it. And she was like, well, that vet tells me every single one of my skunks is fat. And I tell her to fuck off.
Yeah.
Ugh. And her little feet, her feet are a little thick. They store fat in their feet and they store fat in their tails. But, she's not like obese. Damn it, she's not obese.
She sounds pretty healthy to me.
I think she is, and she's active. Like in the summer and spring, she's always very, very active. Winter she slows. She's just rolled on her back right now. I'm watching her across the room right now. She just rolled on her back. She's so fucking cute. I just love her. She does lose weight in the summer because she's like constantly going, go, 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 racing around the house. Like she doesn't fucking stop. And so I'm sure she loses weight then. So I'm like, I just kept telling the vet, I'm like, I swear to God, she's not actually fat. Well, yeah, she is. I'm like, no, she's not. Quit calling my skunk fat.
Obviously, I never actually petted a skunk.
Mm-hmm.
Is she, what is her coat like? Is it soft or is it like wiry like feeling, or like, what does a skunk feel like?
They're so soft. Like, and that's what I'm like, especially in the wintertime. Like right now, wintertime, late fall, wintertime, early spring, their fur is so soft. They've got like, I'm trying to think of another animal. You know how like a duck has like an undercoat, like their down coat underneath?
Yeah.
So like it's or like a husky dog, huskies. Like they have like that, you run your fingers backwards through their fur, and there's that super thick, soft, fluffy undercoat, and like that, and then the outer, like if you run your hand down their back the right way, it's kind of more of a wiry, fine hair, and that's like exactly how she is right now. Like her tummy is super soft and fluffy, and then her undercoat is so soft, and her fur is just so thick, and like I just love to like run my fingers down her back, like back and forth. the wrong way, the right way, because she loves it, but it's just so thick and soft. And then their tails get really big and fluffy in the winter, and then in springtime, a lot of times they look like, we kind of make fun of them because they look like drowned rats, because they shed all of their fluffy down coat, and they shed a lot of the like outer wiry coat too, and then a lot of times their tails will shed so much they almost look bald.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please consider leaving a like, comment, and subscribing. If you would like to support the channel, then consider becoming a Patreon member. For $1 a month, you get your name on a card that appears at the beginning and end of each Let's Play video. Your name will also be shouted out at the beginning of said video, and I will add in the description one link of your choice to one of your social medias, be it YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, or VK. If you would just like to make a one-time donation, then consider donating through Streamlabs. Also, I have a Streamlabs shop. Feel free to buy something from the shop. To see when I go live on Twitch to record the videos for the Let's Play, consider following me on Twitter. If you'd like to see short little videos from the Let's Plays, then follow me on VK, Instagram, and TikTok. The art is done by Johnny Bush. The people on the card are Jeannie and Sheldon Bernal. The music is recorded by Surman. Once again, thank you for watching. Good night, and до свидания.